everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and it's time to crack into a good book. So today's video is going to be another tag, and this is the New Year's book tag. And I was tagged by Angela at Literature Science Alliance, and I'll leave her channel linked down below. But this is just like a really short tag kind of about goals for the year, and like I realize it's February, but I think this is still applicable, and you know, we've got plenty of the year ahead, so why not just get into it? So the first prompt or question is, how many books are you planning on reading this year? So, I mean, I don't have a strict goal. I actually refuse to set Goodreads goals for myself just because, like, I don't want reading to be, like, a stressful endeavor where I'm, like, trying to just read a certain number to hit particular goals. Like, obviously, I would like to read as many as I can, and, like, you know, tentatively, I would like to read 318 books because that's what I read in 2019, and, like, I would, you know, like to continue to read that much. But if I don't make that, I don't make that. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, so basically, like, I'd like to read as much as I can and kind of diminish my TBR pile a little bit. The second question is, name 5 books that you didn't get to last year but want to make a priority in 2020. So I talked about these like months ago, I think, on my channel, and I think a couple of these I haven't talked about at all. So the first book I will mention is The Dragon Republic by Kuang, and like I realized I've had this for months now and I just haven't gotten to it. I feel like at the end of last year, I just like really wasn't in the mood for grimdark fantasy, so you know, that's why I kind of put it off. But I think I could get behind this pretty soon. But this is the sequel to the Poppy War. I think in this, our main character is trying to create a new republic, but like things are not what they seem, and choices will need to be made. We'll see how that goes. The next book I'll mention is Crown of Feathers by Nicki Preto. So this is a YA fantasy about like Phoenix Riders, I think, and there's some sort of Mulan type trope going on here. Yeah, so our main character, I think, is betrayed by her controlling sister and like wants to become a Phoenix Rider, but she has to disguise herself as a boy. And then her sister turns up and there's some sort of drama going on there. But I've heard pretty good things about it, and I think the second book maybe just came out, so I would like to get to this year. The next book I'll talk about is The Calculating Stars by Robinette Kowal. So this is an alternate history sci-fi book where in the 50s a meteorite falls to Earth and like demolishes the East Coast. And there's like climate issues happening because of this meteorite. They basically have to kind of accelerate space programs, I think. Our main character wants to become the first lady astronaut. So I think this is kind of like a group of ladies maybe like fighting the patriarchy and being like, why can't we go to space too? So I'm really excited for that. I think I've heard really great reviews about this, so I definitely want to pick this up, as well as, and assuming that I like it, the sequel I think that has come out at some point in time. The next book I'll talk about is Star Wars Darth Bane, Path of Destruction by Karpyshyn. So this is the first book in this like Darth Bane trilogy, and this is like the Legends, which is just like the original expanded universe books, but that they retconned, I think. But anyway, I don't know when exactly this takes place. We follow this character as he becomes Darth Bane. It's like, in order to gain acceptance into the Brotherhood of Darkness, he must defy the most sacred traditions and reject all he's been taught. It's a trial by fire in which he must surrender fully to the dark side. Dun dun dun. Yeah, I've heard really great things about this trilogy, so I'm excited to actually get to it. Obviously, I've been in a very like sci-fi mood, and we just finished watching The Mandalorian, which is probably why I'm like reading a lot of these Star Wars books lately. But you know, I would like to continue that trend and hopefully pick up more of the series and just general expanded universe or Legends or whatever they're calling it, Star Wars books. So the last book I'll mention here is Tyrannosaur Canyon by Preston. So this is one of just like the action-adventure type books, and I've liked his solo work as well as the joint work with, I think, was it Lincoln Child and Lincoln Child's solo work. But anyway, so this one I think takes place in New Mexico. It talks about like a moon rock missing for 30 years. Bloodsoaked sand found in a New Mexico canyon of various people who have, I don't know, a scientist, a monk, a dark agency, greatest scientific discovery. So I think that this may be like trying to find some sort of space relic and a race to find that and do something with it. I don't know. I really like these sort of action-adventure books, and I've been meaning to pick this up. This is, I think, the first book in some series. I don't know what the series is called, but I've got several other of the books that I picked up in library sales, so, like, you know, I'd like to read this first one so I can read those ones as well. Prompt 3 is, what genre do you want to read more of? So, like, obviously, like, I'm going to continue to read fantasy. I actually kind of want to read more horror this year, and I think, you know, watching channels like Kasha and Rachel, and I'll leave their channels like down below, like, there's so many good horror books out there that I haven't really read, and they keep watching their videos makes me keep like adding more to my TBR pile. So, you know, I definitely would like to continue that trend. I also think I want to read some more sci-fi this year. I think I maybe mentioned this at some point on my channel. I don't know. With sci-fi, I feel like I'm not as into it as I am with fantasy. Like, I think I maybe just haven't found the particular subgenres of sci-fi that I really enjoy. I like books like The Expanse, you know, I like the Wayfarers series, I liked Old Man's War. So I tend to like more military sci-fi or space operas, I think, in general. Like Wayfarers is more character-driven, slice of life sci-fi, but I haven't really like pinpointed exactly what it is that I like. So, you know, I've been more hesitant to pick up sci-fi, but there's obviously a wide variety of books I could choose. Prompt 4 is to name 3 non-book related goals for 2020. So I had actually mentioned some of these in my like 2020 goals video, which I'll try to remember to link. In general, I think, you know, I'm going to repeat this. My main goal is to graduate. I'm tired of grad school. I've got a small update on that front. I actually have a full committee together, and I'm trying to schedule my prelims. So, you know, like the light at the end of the tunnel is like a little pinprick, and it's maybe not like a train coming to destroy me. So, you know, like, progress is being made. Hopefully I think I've got a really good committee, and you know, I'm excited to see. I think they've got different strengths that will actually like really help me out. Another non-book related goal that I don't think I mentioned in my video was like, I just kind of generally want to declutter. I don't know, especially with clothes. I've got a lot of clothes that I just don't wear, and I feel like it would be beneficial for me to get rid of those so I can make more room for like clothes I would wear, and, you know, like pass it along to and donate it or something to Goodwill, and like, you know, give it to those who would actually wear it and need it more than I do. So I'd like to do that. I obviously have a lot of books, so I feel like, you know, as hard as it is to declutter that, I feel like I should make more of an effort to get rid of books that I don't think I'm going to reread. But yeah, generally speaking, I've just got a lot of stuff, and I probably don't need all my stuff. And then another non-book related goal is to maybe like play more board games this year. So for Christmas, my parents got us Machi Koro, and it's the Bright Lights Big City version, I think. And it's really fun. I very much enjoy it. It's kind of a balance of luck and strategy. Like, you pick, you'll like buy cards that have bonuses based on different dice rolls. So like, obviously there's the bit of luck coming in with like somebody roll a particular number, like not necessarily, but then there's like the strategy of just like your objective is to build like 6 landmarks, and so you need to balance that with like buying other constructions that will give you money. So it's really fun. I really enjoy it. So, you know, like obviously I want to keep playing that and just trying out other board games. I do have some issues sometimes just like starting a new board game when, you know, I'm like, if I haven't played it before and like I much prefer to learn how to play a game from like somebody who's played it before, rather than just like, you know, me trying to figure it out on my own based on instructions. And like, sometimes that's totally fine, but other times with like more complicated games, it's nice to have somebody like tell you exactly what's up and how to play. But yeah, so just generally more games is fun. Prompt 5 is, what's a book you've had forever that you still need to read? So I was trying to think what book I've had the longest on my TBR shelf. So that's off Armageddon Reef by David Weaver, I think. This is a sci-fi that I think has something to do with King Arthur. And so I think this was a like limited buy 2 get 1 free from Tor published novels, and you know, like they didn't have that much selection, and I was already buying 2, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm pretty sure I've heard my best friend talk about this before, and I can't remember. I think he ultimately liked it, but was maybe saying that it's kind of wordy in places. I'm trying to even remember what this is about. I'm just going to read you parts of the synopsis. We've got a war with this alien race, and our humans retreat to this planet Safehold, where they sacrifice basic human rights and an accurate memory of this alien species for like the preservation of the human race. We're preventing people from remembering like math and science. I guess these humans have kind of like culturally stagnated, and then we've got a cybernetic avatar that awakens to reinvent itself as a man named Merlin. So I think that's where like the King Arthur sort of retelling comes in. I don't know, clearly I remember nothing about this book, but I would like to read it just to get it off my shelves, and, you know, hopefully I do like it, because I think this is an entire long series, perhaps, and it's a sci-fi series, so if I'd like it, you know, there's me fulfilling I would like to read more sci-fi goal, I guess. Prompt 6 is, what's one word that you're hoping that 2020 will be? I guess productive is a pretty good word. I obviously just like want to accomplish a lot of things, so I think that's a pretty good summary of what I would like to do this year. And then prompt 7 is like to tag people, but I think since it's February and I suspect a lot of people have already done this, I think I'll probably just pass on actually like explicitly tagging anybody. But if anybody watching this wants to do this tag video, consider yourself tagged, please do it and let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think about any of the things that I said, you know, like have you read any of these books I mentioned, and you know, if so, what are your thoughts? Do you think you'll pick any of them up? Do you just have any sort of general thoughts you want to share about, I don't know, anything I mentioned here, or just in general, I guess. With that, I hope you're having an excellent day and are reading something awesome. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, as that would certainly help me out. But with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up here and see you in the next one.